last week I opened up to you guys with a pretty raw and vulnerable video talking about my experiences in 2024 and some of the things that I struggled with and am continuing to struggle with. And it was awesome to see the response, so positive. Never gotten so many comments and DMs of support, and also people saying they related to it. They could see some of themselves in me while watching me speak and talk about my own story and struggles. This encourages me and makes me want to continue making videos like this. So I'm going to challenge myself today to dive further into it, because really the whole end of my pro golf career was just the tip of the iceberg, and the loss of this relationship with someone I cared deeply about. Those were two things that cracked me, but it's not where it started. This goes 2 decades back into my teenage years, and I think it's important to unpack how does someone get to the place that I'm at in life, where you're a grown man, you've done a lot in your life, you've accomplished a lot, and yet you feel purposeless, lost, void of all value, and searching for some sense of meaning in life and some lifeboat to help you take another step and live another day. How do we get there, especially when you're perceived as a fairly capable adult? And I want to talk about it. I just had a phone call with a friend, a couple years older than me, also in the golf community, has known me for a long time, over a decade. And we had a wonderful conversation, 2 hours long, based on him watching that video. And we hadn't talked in a while, but it just called him to reach out to me and express the fact that his life has had a very similar arc, and we're both coming to very similar realizations and seeking spiritual growth and seeking just a more honest relationship with ourselves and others from this point forward. Because I think at a young age, especially as men, especially if you're an athlete, and you're put into these competitive arenas, you are taught to just bulldoze through it. Your feelings are irrelevant, the soreness is irrelevant, get back in the game. I know the elbow hurts, whatever, spit on it, get back in the game. And we both talked about how it can help you achieve a lot. Absolutely. You will become a killer if you learn to shut off your feelings and emotions and just perform. And at a certain age, you get away with it. But as we've now, we're 20 years past the beginning of our athletic careers, back in high school, it can have some really negative long-term effects on you. You learn unhealthy coping mechanisms. You learn to not acknowledge and feel and process emotions because you don't feel safe to do that. You're made fun of for it and ostracized for it, and you're not a man because of that. And while I enjoy the benefit of becoming a really hard worker and learning the ability to just shut off that valve of feeling in favor of keeping on that valve of hard work and dedication and grit and discipline, I've enjoyed the benefits of that with tons of success athletically, academically, working on this whole social media career, kind of with this bulldozer mentality of create content. I don't care how you feel, put something out there. I don't care how late you stay up, how early you have to get up, how many sacrifices you make in your personal life, how much money it costs you, just do it. All these, attitudes have yielded results 100%. But I think you have to look at what's the most important thing in life. The results I'm getting on paper, which usually is just for external validation. It's to make other people look at you and tell you you're valuable and worthy of love. Or is it more important to like yourself and to feel good in your own body and to feel healthy and happy and like you're experiencing life in the present moment and not just doing everything for a reaction from others or for a stamp of approval from your teacher or your coach? So there's 2 very different ways to look at it here. There's probably a middle ground where you can blend both, but for the purpose of this video, I kind of want to talk about what happens when you stack decades of this belief system that I am nothing unless I perform, put numbers on the board. I don't care what you're going through, how bad you feel, perform. What this teaches you is that a very normal part of the human existence, feeling emotions and having reactions to different events in life, isn't okay. And so you behave in this unnatural, unhealthy way of trying to deny what is. So something difficult happens in life, you have an emotional reaction to it, but then you deny it and you store that in the corners of your mind and soul and heart as if it doesn't exist, but it does exist. And the only way you can prevent it from catching up to you is by remaining distracted, working hard, or sometimes, leaning into unhealthy vices. But whatever you have to do to stay occupied mentally to where you're not feeling that emotion, but it's all just energy. So when something happens that's challenging to us, it's an energetic exchange with our body. The energy moves into our heart, the dark, negative energy of grieving someone or something. It doesn't just go away. You have to process it. So you have to feel these emotions. Anger is expressed, with screaming and yelling or an outburst of energy. Sadness is expressed with tears and crying and weeping. These are all outlets to let out the energy, but especially as men, that's usually not encouraged. I didn't get made fun of or specifically punished if I felt emotion. I think I just read the room around me and looked up to different athletes and different, high performers in different arenas of life. And I watched them probably put on a facade, much like I have, of they're always on, they're always grinding, they're always working hard. They don't care if their girlfriend breaks up with them. They don't care if their dog dies. It's just work, 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 work. That's glorified. That's hustle culture, right? And that's 5 a.m. grind core on TikTok. And it's like, it's motivational. It is. It fires you up. And I got a lot out of myself by watching that. But I shut off this other humanistic side of me, the feeling side. And for me personally, I am an empath, which means that I feel energy on a much deeper level than the average human. I'm not sure what the percentage is of empaths in the world, but it's small. This is like a unique subset of the population that has this, like, the notch of feeling and emotion is just turned up. So when we're happy and experiencing highs in life, we are feeling them beyond what the average person feels, and the same is true with the lows. And also, when we're in other people's energy fields, we're feeling more of that. We're actually capable of deep compassion and empathy and understanding of other people's existence in life, other people's pain, other people's joy. We feed off other people. We ride those energy waves in a way that's different than some. And so to be that type of person and then again try to deny that side of myself and be this kind of like straight-faced, serious grinder guy, working at sports and working at school and all these different goals that I had, it was unnatural, and it's ultimately bubbled into this huge breaking point in my life now at age 33 where I couldn't take it anymore. The denial of my truth, the denial of all of the feeling and emotion inside of me built up over decades of suppressing different events and things that had happened to me or things that I had created on my own, different moments of self-sabotage, just basically been lying to myself, and became a very good communicator and capable of painting whatever picture I wanted, telling whatever story I wanted, using my words to basically manipulate myself into believing everything was fine, and then obviously those around me buying into it as well, when it's not fine. It hasn't been fine. I don't think I've been fine since I was like in high school. That was the last time that I probably felt like light and free and, not tied down by trying to maintain an image and trying to continue telling the story I thought I was supposed to tell, that I thought other people would accept and validate me for. And I think I have more ability to like control my emotions than most. I think my ability to like let this stuff bubble up and have it all, have the water boiling underneath the lid in my brain, but not let it pop off. I think my ability to do that is probably stronger than most, but even I have my limits and breaking points, and we definitely hit one last year. And I don't want to do that again. I don't want to live a lie anymore. I want to age and mature and just be okay with all of my flaws, okay with all of the negative things that have happened or that I've created in my life. I am just a human trying my absolute best. My intention has always been pure. This is not a lie. This is the fucking truth. My intention has always been pure. My heart has always been in alignment with helping others, connecting with others, experiencing joy and making the world a better place, trying to share my gifts with the world and live my truth. That is always where I've operated from. So I feel confident in saying that, but the things that I've lied to myself and to others about have been, how I'm feeling, how I'm doing, um, problems I've had that I've denied, and ways I've tried to cope and get through difficult things in life that I've kind of shied away from acknowledging, how bad they were for me and how far underground I was getting, in terms of liking myself, liking my life. I'll tell you a story from when I was starting college. I had this belief coming out of high school that I had to play Division I college golf. I was worthless if I didn't play Division I college golf. I wasn't good enough leaving high school to be recruited by Division I colleges. But I wouldn't concede this belief that I had, because it felt like a death. It was like, if I don't become a D1 college golfer, my whole existence has meant nothing and I may as well die, because people only view me for my golf accomplishments, and that's all they talk about and all they ask about, and that's what the newspapers write about, and that's what, the neighbors ask about and the aunts and uncles. And if I don't achieve this thing, I am nothing. And imagine that belief system, what a disempowering belief system, standing over every shot, right? Every tournament, instead of it being like, oh, I'm just happy to be here and I accept any outcome and I'm hoping for the best, but even if it's not, it'll be okay. Having this attitude of like, I need this, it has to happen, it repels it from you. And that's exactly what it did. So I stepped into Cal Poly San Luis Obispo freshman year, playing in the tryouts, trying to get on the D1 team. And your possibility of doing that is very small. They accept one walk-on per year. There's usually 25 to 30 guys trying out, all, typically very, very skilled and talented. So I didn't make it as a freshman, no surprise there. And then I spent the entire year uncomfortable, out of alignment with myself, not just like enjoying the college experience, going to parties, dating girls, making friends, playing recreational basketball. I didn't do that. I beat the fuck out of myself for not making the golf team. I was taking my golf clubs on a bicycle sometimes, riding like 8 miles down the road to go to the driving range that I was allowed to practice at closest to the campus. And sometimes I would take my golf clubs with me on a public bus, go down there, practice, everything I did, and I would come home during breaks and play as many tournaments as I could. It was all about this like need to get better, to prove to the coach. I had something to prove, and to the guys that were on the team that were, I felt like they were probably looking at me and, talking about how I would never make the team and I wasn't good enough and this and that. It was all this angst and anger inside of me. And I used that fuel to continue practicing, and eventually it worked. I didn't make it as a sophomore. I did make it halfway through my junior year. So it was 3 failed attempts, freshman, sophomore, junior, halfway through the junior year, because I had been added to a practice roster that junior year. So I was like on the lookout list in case somebody dropped off the team, which did happen. So I got called up and I did play 2.5 years from there. So it had a happy ending, right? On paper, I got the result that I wanted by fueling myself with self-hatred and feelings of not being good enough, not being worthy, all these feelings of lack. It drove me, but I missed the whole college experience. I did not like myself. I felt valueless until I made the team. And really, it didn't stop when I made the team, because then it was like, well, but you're not in the top 5, or you're not number 1 on the team. And it was back and forth. Sometimes I played tournaments in top 5, sometimes I didn't, but it was just always this self-critical place of like, you're not doing enough. You're not, look at him, he's doing better than you. Why don't you swing as good as him? Coach likes him more than you. Why don't you, why didn't you shoot a better score in qualifying? And there was just never this place of open-heartedness and accepting what is. It was always this place of needing to force a particular result that I really wasn't in control of. And that's kind of a microcosm for life. Most things are out of our control. Our attitude and our effort is really the only thing that we have control over. And for all intents and purposes, I should have been okay with that. I was giving full effort and my best attitude to everything that I did back then, and I didn't feel okay about it. And so that was kind of the beginning of me starting to go down this path of attaching all confidence and self-worth to my accolades and to my achievements, and picking these difficult things to have achievements in golf. And this friend of mine and I that were just on the phone, we were talking about it. He and I both, we're in like the top 0.1% of all humans on the planet at golf. It's awesome. I don't know very many people that can say they're in the top 0.1% of anything in life, a sport or a career or academically. So it's an incredible accomplishment. We've both been playing since we were, young kids and practicing hard and coaches and all these things. So on paper, it's like, amazing job. You should be so proud of yourself. Yet we're comparing ourselves to the 0.0001%, which is 150 guys out of 8 billion people on the planet that make millions of dollars every year on the PGA Tour. That's the goal. That's it. Anything less than that is a failure. So the level that I was at of being a professional and having a few small wins and making a few small checks and shooting my fair shares of 65, 66, 64, 63, done it all in tournaments, should be an amazing accomplishment, right? Very rarely did I feel accomplished. 95% of the time, I felt lacking in comparison to my peer group, which happened to be some of the most elite golfers on planet Earth. Now, what a waste of an overwhelmingly positive thing. I spent my whole golf career in self-hatred, which, it drive me to practice harder and work harder, and spilled over to the gym too. I've had this pretty above average strength and physique, probably since I was 13 or 14. This very room I'm sitting right here, we built a gym in and I started lifting weights. And I think most of it was from a place of self-hatred, a self of lack, wanting to be something I wasn't, wanting to look bigger, stronger, tougher, put armor all around me to protect me from the fact that I actually felt so insecure, so valueless, and so weak. But if I could make others perceive me a different way and validate and accept me for that, then maybe I would feel better. And I've been chasing that my whole life. I think I've been chasing that with social media as well, thinking if I just have this many followers or this amount of views and likes on my videos, or I connect with these brand partners, I'm seen at these events, I'm in pictures or in the same conversation, in the same Yahoo articles as these influencers or these other pro athletes or celebrities, like all of those things will validate me. My physique and the body I can build in the gym through punishing myself and hating myself, the athletic accomplishments I can drive, again, by hating myself and looking at my peers and saying how much better they are than me and how much farther I have to go to catch them. And then social media, creating this mask of social approval and validation from mostly people I don't even fucking know, telling me how awesome I am for all of these things, which aren't even me anyway. Most of the things I'm being validated for are the superficial things. And that's where videos like this come in. I'm really trying to pull back. And I've done it in the past, for sure. There have been many times where I felt like I could open up and be vulnerable like this. But I think what happens is when you get harshly judged enough times, eventually it's like you keep sticking your hand out and you're trying to be yourself and share yourself with the world, and you just keep getting bit and bit and bit by the snakes, which is just haters, people that are unhappy with their own lives and something about you triggers them. Maybe you're chasing a dream that they wish they had the balls to chase, or maybe you're living a lifestyle or or doing something that they would like to do and for whatever reason can't do or aren't doing. That's where hate comes from. It's never someone above you. It's never someone succeeding in life at the thing that you're pursuing. They would only encourage you and reach out a hand backwards saying, I know the journey you're on. I know the struggle you're going through. You got this, brother. Keep pushing. So that's where it comes from. But I think when you, at least in my case, as you try over the years to be yourself, and in the real world too, not just online, in my own personal friendships and relationships, constantly try to speak your language, speak your truth, and you have it either misinterpreted or ignored or even made fun of by people you care about, or sometimes online, people you don't know. But it all hurts. I don't care how badass you are. Even David Goggins, I'm telling you, man, he has feelings and a soul just like everyone else. So it's just simply not true to be like, I don't care what people say about me. It doesn't affect me. It affects everyone to varying degrees, sure, but everyone as a human being is hardwired to seek approval from other human beings. It's a survival mechanism at its foundation. Thinking back to ancestral times when we needed acceptance and validation from your own tribe to be allowed to live with them, to be allowed to eat food and have protection. If everyone disapproved of you and kicked you out of the tribe, you'd be living in the jungle by yourself and you'd be eaten by a lion in a couple days. So we have a need for acceptance, validation, approval, and we have a need for human connection and feeling seen and understood. We have a need for love and attention and feeling like we're not alone on this planet by ourselves. So it's unhealthy and abnormal to deny that. And those that are, considered the hardest men on the planet, the soldiers and the David Goggins and the people that, seemingly do deny that in the public eye, it does create the wrong thing to look up to. And I love David Goggins, and I love the badass Marines and stuff like that. So I am not hating on them at all. I'm just saying that that's what we look up to, and that's who I looked up to. And I know in turn, there are some younger people that look up to me, and to them, I've been that. I've been creating this facade of always being okay, always having an answer, always having a plan, downgrading my failures, highlighting my successes, and making you think you're not valuable because you can't compare yourself to me. And I'm sorry for that. I apologize. I've just been another, the system of what is glorified in culture obviously got to me at a young age and affected how I behaved and the things that I've placed attention and value on in life. And then decades down the road, the cycle continues and younger people are looking to me in the same way. And on the David Goggins note, I don't know where it was, but some quote popped up for me the other day of him crying and saying, I wasn't always this real hard dude that you guys see and look up to, man. Life was hard and things broke me down. And I loved that. I respected that. It was one of my favorite David Goggins quotes I've ever seen. And I'll still watch all the ones about him saying stay hard and do 10,000 push-ups and don't be a bitch. I love that too. And I think in a certain way, that's who I feel I am. Equal parts, like, come on, brother, like, get to work, quit being a bitch. But then also, I want to pull back the curtain sometimes and be like, look, dude, I cry and I don't have the answer and I doubt myself and I am unsure if I am who I say I am. And sometimes it seems like the world or certain individuals completely misinterpret my soul, and that hurts me deeply because I pride myself on being able to communicate myself and share my energy with others, and I pride myself on being a kind and pure soul. And when someone is like, no, I don't see that, I think you're lying, I think you're manipulating, that hurts deeply, and it makes me question, am I? I don't know, am I full of shit? And again, I just think it's okay to feel all these things. It's normal. Not everyone speaks your language, but you do have to keep speaking your truth to find the people that do. And all of these micro rejections and painful moments and failures, which are all just lessons anyway, it's all just each no getting you closer to your ultimate yes in relationships, in business, in your career path in life, etc. I talked about that in a video last week, but it's all of these micro rejections are just one more no on your list of no's before you get to the ultimate and eventual yes. Even knowing that, it still doesn't make it easy. It's still not like comfortable to put yourself out there knowing that some people will talk about you, some people will reject you, you will have negative experiences and emotions as a result of doing this, but it's the only way and it helps others. But you will never get to the place in life where you're supposed to be if you can't do this. If you just sit there and do nothing and say nothing and be nothing to avoid judgment or to avoid being misinterpreted by others, or to avoid showing weakness, to avoid showing vulnerability, to open yourself up to criticism and being made fun of, if that's what your goal is to just never be seen, you'll go crazy, because we all have a need to be seen and we all have a need to be heard and to connect with others and to find our tribe. So I would encourage all of you guys to, let this be an example of people trying to find their tribe in the world through sharing their real heart and vulnerabilities and transparency. And, my experience with this last video, which was so overwhelmingly positive, is a great example of how much, people respect and appreciate when you can just be honest. You don't have to make up stories. You don't have to try to be, the coolest or the funniest or the best. You don't have to be anything that you're not. Just be you. And there are millions of other people on the planet that relate to that version of you, that feel like they're very similar and that want to support you in any phase of your life. And it's not about the things that you thought it was about. I thought for so long it was just my golf swing and my scores. If I didn't have those two things going for me, no one would care about me and I'd be nothing. And I was wrong. So many people have reached out from that last video where I said I'm done with golf and I'm moving forward, and said, we support you, brother, and are excited now more than ever to watch. This is when it actually gets good and fun. We can't wait to see how you bounce back from this challenge and that challenge. We can't wait to see what you do next. And it got me excited. It got me fired up. And it reminded me of how much more there is to life than just achievements and accomplishments and comparing yourself to others. I feel like it's just starting now. My journey is just now starting. And I'm grateful for everything that's happened in the past, but it's not the thing that defines me. And all that it did was get me to this breaking point where I can finally start over and rebuild myself from the ground up and start to place attention and value and effort into the things that really matter, which are my own growth, my ability to be more honest with myself, my ability to slow down, de-stimulate, not just be distracted 24/7 and listening to other people's opinions and perspectives and having this onslaught of information coming at me to where I can't hear myself, which is what I did before. Now I'm kind of retreating for a period, not forever, but for a period, sort of retreating into the silence and trying to hear my own intuition. And I'm working so hard on all these crazy breathwork ceremonies that bring out screaming and crying. It's not fun. It's not easy, but I'm doing it. And I'm showing up every day to the gym, and I'm learning new skills like boxing. And I'm going to yoga every day, trying to take care of my nervous system and help it to down-regulate so I can continue to lean in to this healing, because I admit and I understand now I have serious, serious wounds and trauma going back decades. This did not start in 2024. 2024 exposed it. 2024 ripped the Band-Aid off, things I had been patching for years. But I am deeply wounded, as all of us are. The human experience is deeply wounding. And if you believe in having past lives, imagine the generational trauma you're carrying from thousands of years of life. It's unfathomable. So to sit here and criticize and judge yourself and others for not perfectly navigating every experience as a human it's unbelievable. It's so silly. We should be so much more compassionate with ourselves and others, acknowledging just how real this shit is. And I'm learning about, years of abandonment wounds, years of insecurity and feeling like I'm not enough because of different things that I lost in my life or different situations that didn't work out for me. You're not just, born this way and you assume all of these, flaws and things that make you unlovable. Like, you develop them over lots and lots and lots of different experiences as protection mechanisms. All we're trying to do as humans is feel safe. We want to feel safe and comfortable, and like we're free from pain and suffering and fear. And so all of these different things that others look at and deem as problems and things to fix and things that are wrong with you and red flags, acknowledge that you have them too, and it's everyone is doing their best to play the hand that they were dealt, and it's not easy. And we can still be worthy of love and give love from that place. The healing is not finite. It's not like I'll do these things, I'll do these steps, and then I'll be there, and then it's fine, and then everything else is good. Because things keep happening. Life doesn't just stop for you to sit there for 5 years and heal. It keeps going. So each day there's new stressors, there's more things down the road. And so the healing and the processing of emotions and the commitment to being honest with yourself is ongoing. It's a daily struggle and practice. It's a muscle you have to train, and I am working very hard on it right now, and I can feel energy shifting. I am attracting beautiful conversations on a daily basis and reminding myself of how many incredible souls I've connected with thus far in my life who are still connected to me in one way or another. Finding videos like this last week and reaching out, or different social circles I'm reintegrating with and reminding myself of different friends from different phases in life. That's all beautiful, as well as the people that I don't even know yet that will be attracted by videos like this and future videos that resonate with things that I'm saying and probably go on to become my best friends or business partners, etc. It's all wonderful. It all starts with you and the ability to share your story and put yourself out there. And so I hope a video like this could help. I don't know if I really nailed the point I was trying to get to or not. More than anything, I just want to challenge myself to continue speaking right now, because with each day I gain a little more clarity. It gets a little bit easier to do it. The barrier to entry and that like trigger shy feeling of I better not. I don't want to talk about this. I don't want to post that. It's like, no, do it, motherfucker. That is your gift. That is everyone's gift. And you sharing your gift will inspire others to share theirs. And the world will become a better place. People will connect with people more easily. People will feel less alone and less like no one can relate to their story. And I'll start with you. Do your part. So that's what this is about. I'll leave it at that for now. Have a great day.